This is not a hype video about a new trading bot. It is a postmortem of an experiment we built, tested, and then deliberately shut down, the Hyperliquid Copy Bot. The idea was simple and dangerously attractive. If some wallets on Hyperliquid appear to trade well, can we watch public wallet data, identify good candidates, and mirror their trades first in paper mode only? Not live. No private keys. No real orders. Just a research system. That is exactly how the project was designed: read only, paper only, no private keys, no financial advice. What we built was still more than a small script. The bot had a discovery layer that read public Hyperliquid leaderboard data. It normalized wallet candidates and ranked them with a discovery score. Then came the second layer, fill collection. For top candidates, it collected public user fills with rate limits and fault tolerance, so a single API hiccup would not break the whole system. The most important part was not finding large wallets. Large wallets are not automatically copyable. So we added a dynamic ranking layer. It blended the public leaderboard signal with observed copyability from local fill samples. As our own observations grew, the pure leaderboard rank was supposed to matter less. That was the right direction, not who looks big, but what can actually be mirrored under our constraints. Then came the signal scanner. It looked for open long or short entries and checked slippage, confidence, supported coins, minimum notional and risk caps. Only signals that survived those gates became paper copy signals. A paper broker then simulated a small account with exposure caps, fees, and mark-to-market reporting. On top of that, we had a fast exit watcher that only pulled source wallets with open paper positions and reduced or closed mirrored paper positions when source exits became visible. So this was not a blind follow-the-whale bot. It was a small copy trading research stack: discovery, ranking, signal gates, a paper broker, an exit loop, reports, audits, and a low-noise telegram concept for later. And that is where it gets interesting. The reports looked impressive at first. Some wallets had huge leaderboard numbers, high scores, many fills, and large historical P&L values. That can easily create the feeling that there must be edge here. But the paper and audit view was much more sober. The demo paper account ended around $1,001.89 of equity. That was $1.89 of profit, or 0.19%. Open exposure was $119.56, roughly 11.93% of the account. There were 6 open positions, 15 total trades, and only a 16.67% win rate on closed trades. That is not catastrophic, but it is also not a robust signal for live expansion. Especially not in a market where slippage, timing, and liquidity can completely change the difference between a theoretical copy signal and an executable trade. The blocked signal statistics were even more important. Many possible signals were not taken. 195,080 were blocked because the source notional was too small. 60,273 because the mid price was missing. 49,323 because the coin was unsupported. 3,323 because slippage was too high. That is the core lesson of the project. The hard part was not finding signals. The hard part was finding copyable signals that still made sense after costs, timing, market structure, and risk caps. Copy trading sounds easy because the story is easy: find good traders and copy them. In practice, you need 3 things at the same time. First, real reproducible edge. Second, execution that is fast enough and cheap enough. Third, risk control that does not just look good in a report, but survives lid-like operation. For us, too much of that remained uncertain on Hyperliquid. There was also a strategic reason. Our focus shifted. We do not want to keep stacking complexity around cryptocopy ideas. We want more robust, more controllable systems: NQ research, paper lanes, prop risk gates, and IBKR as a cleaner rebuild for stock and broker-side automation. Hyperliquid was a useful learning project, but not the place where we want to keep adding operational weight. So we stopped it. Not because nothing worked. We stopped it because it was not strong enough to justify more cron jobs, watchdogs, exit loops, reports, and attention. The paper copy logic was removed. The Hyperliquid paper copy bot cron is gone, the exit watch cron is gone, active wrapper scripts were archived, and there are no active Hyperliquid cron references left. The repository stays as an archive and learning artifact, but the automation logic is out. My takeaways are simple. First, read-only and paper first was the right safety decision. It let us learn without risking real orders. Second, leaderboard PNL is not a copy signal. You need local observation, fill quality, notional filters, slippage gates and exit logic. Third, when a system finds many signals but blocks most of them for good reasons, that is not necessarily a bug. It may be the most honest result. The idea sounds bigger than it is operationally tradable. Fourth, projects need an exit rule. Not every prototype deserves to become production. Sometimes the best move is to keep the learning, remove the running logic, and put the energy into the next better stack. For us, the next stack is an IBKR rebuild. Not blindly reactivating old jobs. Not accidentally starting live trading. Clean separation between paper and live, gateway and port verification, no secrets and logs, the decision flow tested first in shadow or paper mode, and cron jobs reactivated one by one only after dry runs. So the Hyperliquid project was not a total failure. It was a useful research artifact. It showed how quickly copy trading becomes complex, why blocked reasons matter, and why a small paper profit is not enough to call something production ready. That is why we stopped, not out of panic, but out of discipline. Research only. Not financial advice. This is a documentation of what we built, what we learned, and why we deliberately turned the automation logic off.